What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my Big Ten Week 7 review. This is the second to last week in the Big Ten season, and with Week 8 coming up, it seems like the Big Ten championship might already be set. We're just maybe waiting on a Big Ten change, which, hey, this week again saw two games canceled, the first of which was Minnesota canceling their game against the Northwestern Wildcats. This is the second game that Minnesota's had canceled, and it pretty much solidifies Northwestern into the Big Ten championship game as they have beaten both Wisconsin and Iowa already. The lone loss just really doesn't help their playoff causes all, but Northwestern, welcome to Indianapolis. I've said that in a previous video, but now it is confirmed, 100% true, factual, definitely going to happen. Northwestern, 1-8 last year in Big Ten play, 5-1 this year, and in Indianapolis. A great story for Pat Fitzgerald and the squad. And for Minnesota, okay, you hopefully get a play this week, finish out your football season strong with a win, possibly. But we hope both these teams get back on the field next week. Also, Michigan canceled their game against Maryland, and with that Ohio State game that Michigan has still hanging in the balance, Maryland is now also not eligible to play in the Big Ten championship game as they join Wisconsin as the only two teams not eligible to do so. Of course, there are other teams, but this mainly because of COVID reasons. Again, hope both these teams can get back on the field. Maryland was dealing with COVID problems of their own, and now Michigan is, so Maryland has to feed off that. It's just a whole mess. We hope Michigan can get back to the field. I hope Michigan can get back on the field. I talked about it in my Ohio State video today. I hope Michigan can get back on the field. I want to play them. So hopefully both these teams can get back on the field. Let's move into games that are actually happening, or that actually happened. Well, how about Nebraska? They seem to be getting better as the weeks go on. I have no idea. They started Adrian Martinez in this game, and he performed well for him. 23 of 30, 242 yards, and a touchdown through the air, along with 2 touchdowns on the ground. Adrian Martinez is getting better. I was not a huge fan of Adrian Martinez. I thought he'd do better this year, and in the first couple games he played, I thought, no, he's getting better. Dedrick Mills was great in this game, as was Wan'Dale Robinson, as Nebraska beats Purdue 37-27. We did find out that Aiden O'Connell is going to be out the rest of the season, so Jack Plummer is that guy. And he played well, as did David Bell and Rondell Moore. It was just that team rushing that couldn't get going. Only 17 carries, and they went backwards, -2 yards. Both teams are now 2-4. No hopes of getting to Indianapolis for either of them, but they still both hope to play games next week. Again, with COVID, you never know. But, I mean, these two schools played well in this game. I thought Nebraska's defense played well in this game as well. Purdue, they got offense going. Nebraska was up big. Purdue ended up coming back. But, again, just like the Penn State game, Nebraska's defense held strong, able to get them that nice win. Penn State has finally found their winning streak now on a 2-game winning streak. Sean Clifford was back at quarterback in this game as the Penn State Nittany Lions beat the Rutgers Scarlet Knights 23-7. Noah Vedral was back playing this game, but Rutgers offense just couldn't get anything going. They're outgained 381 to 205 yards. Penn State had the momentum from start to finish in this game, and they did not look back. Sean Clifford, 15 of 22. Not a whole lot of passing yards, but the rushing attack was very prominent for Penn State. As you see, I have 3 guys listed here. Kavion Lee, 17 carries for 95 yards. Devin Ford, 11 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. And Will Levis, 14 carries for 65 yards. So the backup quarterback came in and ran a lot of option plays. Didn't throw a pass in this game, but ran a lot of quarterback runs, quarterback sneaks. Very, very productive day for Penn State. Maybe not a huge output on the scoreboard, but a great day for Penn State. Not much else to say about this game. Rutgers did not play their game at all. They struggled a lot in this game. And Penn State has found a rhythm, found a groove. Not as dominant of a Penn State team as we thought they were going to be, but they found a groove going into the last week of the season. Both these teams are now 2-5. Penn State gets the W. I talked about this game already if you went and watched my Ohio State fan reaction, but for those who didn't and for those who just are interested, that's okay. Ohio State has made a statement to the college football world. They throttle Michigan State 52-12. Now, it's not like winning this game wasn't any question for Ohio State, but they were without 3 starting offensive linemen, including their starting center, notably their head coach Ryan Day, some good backup guys, a good backup offensive lineman, some backup defensive backs, and the defensive captain linebacker Tuff Borland. All those guys were out, and Larry Johnson coached this team well. How about Justin Fields in this game? Didn't throw for 200 yards, but he made a lot of smart plays. 199, that's basically 200. Just tack on extra yards, all good. 2 touchdowns through the air, 13 carries, 104 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Trey Sermon showed out in this game. I think people have forgotten how good of a runner Trey Sermon is. I think people remember now after watching this game, and Chris Olave was excellent as well. Definitely Justin Fields' most targeted and most productive receiver in this game. Garrett Wilson also caught a touchdown pass. And as for Michigan State, Rocky Lombardi got pulled in this game, but Payton Thorne played really well. Payton Thorne played well. For the way this Michigan State team looked in this game, Payton Thorne played well. He played really well. Again, turnovers were a problem for the Spartans. 4 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and 2 interceptions. On top of that, just couldn't get anything going at all. Just nothing going for Michigan State on offense. When Payton Thorne came in, they did get a touchdown, did get a safety off a bad snap, but, I mean, what are you going to do about that? It's not like it affected the game at all. Ohio State blows out the Spartans 52-12, makes a statement to the college football world and to the college football playoff committee. They have a high chance of getting in, I believe, whether they make it to Indianapolis or not. Now, the Big Ten is looking at changing rules to make sure that Ohio State gets in Indianapolis if that if that Michigan game isn't able to be played. I mean, I would, as an Ohio State fan, I would love to get to Indianapolis, but at this point, I don't know if it matters too much. Ohio State rolls in this one. The Iowa Hawkeyes kind of struggled a little bit in this game. They struggled just a tiny bit. They were down 14-0 early, and Illinois looked like it had all the momentum, but Iowa surges back. They won this one 35-21, move to 5-2, and hey, this Iowa team is something else. After dropping their first 2 games, they have really turned it around. They have absolutely exceeded my expectations, and I think a lot of other people's expectations as well. Again, Illinois did not play a bad game. They were really good on 3rd down. They were 9 of 18, while I believe Iowa was something like 4 and 11. Not that great. Also 1 for 2 on 4th down, in case you were curious. But Iowa just took over in the second half. Their defense really stymied this Illinois offense. Spencer Petras, in my opinion, had probably his best game of the season, while the stats may not show it. Threw 3 touchdown passes and just played his game. The young quarterback sitting back there made lots of smart throws. I'm going to call out and say this was Spencer Petras' best game. And this is probably Amir Smith-Marsette's best game this year as well, and I still think he can be better. 2 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown, while catching the ball 4 times for 36 yards and a touchdown as well. Tyler Goodson on the ground did his thing as well. But Iowa, so now it comes down to the game next week to decide who gets 2nd and 3rd place in the Big Ten West. Let me tell you, it's going to be a good one. Talk about that more on Monday or Tuesday. Going to have a special announcement here in a little bit in the coming days, within being tomorrow or on Tuesday. So you'll have to find out and wait what that is. But Illinois comes up short on the stick. Iowa dominates the second half, wins this game by 14. All right, I want us to take a step back for a minute, and let's have a moment of silence for the Wisconsin Badgers offense. Thank you. Wisconsin couldn't get anything going on offense in this game, which is the exact opposite of what I thought would happen. If you remember, I picked Wisconsin to win this game. Nope. They outgained Indiana 342-217, but penalties were a big issue for Wisconsin, and Graham Mertz has just declined since the season has gone on. Wisconsin got nothing going on offense. Their offense was non-existent in this game. But also Indiana played some really good defense, and their offense was not as productive as it would be if Michael Penix was on the field, but I thought Jack Tuttle played really well. 13, 22, 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. While the stats might be underwhelming for a guy that I say played really well, he played really well. Now, wasn't Michael Penix good, but he was pretty good. He could probably start for a couple other teams in the Big Ten, but he was pretty good. He was a former Ohio State recruit, transferred to Indiana, played well. Stevie Scott also played well. Again, Indiana didn't really have much offense going as well. But the big thing I want to talk about here is, yes, Wisconsin looked awful. Wisconsin's defense made some good plays, but their offense looked awful. Awful. I mean, they outgained Indiana, but they just couldn't get on the scoreboard. They came in with 2 field goals, and that's it. But I want to move on to Indiana here. Why is there no playoff talk for Indiana? Why was there no playoff talk for Indiana after they lost to Ohio State? It's after they lost to Ohio State, they were done. That's it. It's over. Now, I think Indiana has a very slim shot of making the college football playoff. I believe the playoff predictor has them at something like 16 or 17%. So it's slim, but it's there. And no one is talking about them because no one knows who Indiana are. No one knows who they are. They're good people. If those of you that have been watching this channel over the course of the last 2 months know that I really like Indiana. They were underrated coming into the season, in my opinion. They're really good. Now, the scoreboard wasn't lit up in this game. It was a very defensive game. But there should be more playoff talk for Indiana. If the Big Ten does not reverse its course, says, sorry, Ohio State, you can't play in the Big Ten championship game, and Indiana ends up going and they beat Northwestern, their only loss is to the only undefeated team in the Big Ten, and who also has a really good shot of making the playoff. Again, it's very slim because there are teams out there that are better than Indiana, obviously. Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame, maybe even Miami, Cincinnati. Cincinnati, Indiana would be a good game to watch. But, I mean, regardless, if you're an Indiana fan, you might be a little ticked off. You should have conversation in the playoff. And while I think that loss to Ohio State hurts you, if the Big Ten doesn't reverse its course, that loss to Ohio State maybe even kind of helps you a little bit. I don't know, just some thoughts thrown out there. This was the game of the week, and Indiana, something special this year. They definitely are the Minnesota of the Big Ten this year. This has been a fun football team to watch. I can't wait to see what they can do next week against their rival Purdue. What do all this mean for the standings? Well, if my picture would load, there it is. Nothing really changed. Penn State jumped to Rutgers, and Purdue now falls to the bottom of the Big Ten West. And I did not realize this by just looking at it. I apologize. I should have Wisconsin and Iowa flipped because Iowa has more wins. But really, it'll come down to whoever wins that game next week. Yes, that is game next week. Probably going to be Big Ten game of the week next week as well. But those 2 teams should be flipped. I apologize on that. But not a whole lot of change in the standings. Going to have to see how next week plays out. But if the Big Ten reverses course, that Ohio State-Michigan game doesn't get played, Northwestern has already made the Big Ten championship game. Ohio State or Indiana, you're moving on to Indianapolis. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to leave a like on this video. Also, please subscribe. A lot of you guys that watch my videos aren't subscribed. What are you doing? Please hit that subscribe button. Also, ring the notification bell. You can customize your notifications. So, I mean, hey, I don't care if you turn it on. Just ring that bell. Actually, I do care if you turn it on. Ring that bell so you know when I upload a future video. Also, leave a comment down below. I always love hearing your guys' thoughts. And please share this video with everyone that you know. Sorry, speech is not my strong suit today. I'm trying to grow the channel as big as possible. It'd be really awesome if you share the channel with everyone who likes Big Ten football, college football in general, as much as you and me. Remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see all of you guys in the next video. Goodbye.